Hello, and welcome to the crossover, where nothing is out of bounds and everything is fair game. We have a lot to cover with you today, but first, let's check in with the Tunnel Crew. Please give a warm welcome to Stacks, Aggie P, Rooftop, TP, and Big T.
What's happening, everybody? And once again, it's time for At Home with the Crossover. I'm your man, Big T, alongside the usual cast of characters, my tag team partners. We talking about the First Lady, the Queen, the Doctor, Mama, the Entrepreneur. She is in the house, none other than TP.
Hey, everybody. Blessings to everyone. Blessings to my team. Blessings, blessings, blessings.
Thank you, TP, and I appreciate that. Birdman is in the house, the number one Eagles fan, and Wake Forest fan, and Lakers fan. At least on this show, he is those things. Birdman, what's going on?
I feel like Eminem in this Eagles hoodie. I better lose myself.
Hey, and then we got Mr. Smooth, man, the guy that is just so cool, man. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I mean it. Bro Mel is one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. And like I said, he reminds me of a radio DJ from the 70s, but he's also an Eli legend and loves the game of basketball. Bro Mel is in the house. What's going on?
Hey, praise the Lord, everybody. Glad to be here this evening.
There you go. Then we got the man that brings ag swag to the show each and every week. Loves representing those A&T Aggies. I mean, thus the nickname. Aggie P is in the house. What's up, Aggie P?
Hey, glad to be here, Big T. Aggie Pride is nationwide.
There you go. Radar Charles is in the house as usual, nodding his head and, ready to go. Can you see? Can you see Radar?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Right. Good.
No matter how narrow the way is, God will show me the way, sir.
There you go. Oh, you walking by faith and not by sight. All right.
Not by sight, sir.
I got you. And then we got Stats, our resident baseball expert. He's got that Chicago Cubs jersey on. And this is opening week for Major League Baseball. Stats, what's going on?
Hey, even though the Tar Heels went out lame, it's still 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out at the old ball game.
There you go. Love it. Love it. Hey, and together we are the Tunnel Crew, watching everything that happens inside and outside the tunnel, leading to the lines of competition in the world of sports. Coming up on this edition of At Home with the Crossover, down the stretch, the NBA comes. It's the final week. I think most teams have 4, no more than 5 games left. So the season's about to wrap up. Playoffs will be starting. Hey, Arians is out. And Tampa Bay, and Dawn Staley makes history. So congratulations to her. And we'll talk about that and much, much more coming up on this edition. But we start with the hot topics. The hottest stories of sports may not be what everybody else is talking about, but it's things we, the Tunnel Crew, want to talk about. And around these parts, nothing is hotter than Carolina Duke Part 3. Yep, it's like, you get a great trilogy. And everybody loved the first movie and everybody, loved the second movie. So you want more. You want a third movie. And usually the third movie lets you down. Well, Carolina Duke Part 3, for the first time ever on the national stage in the big dance, did not disappoint. That game featured 18 lead changes, and it saw the Tar Heels outlast, basically, Duke in a scrappy, exciting back and forth game down in New Orleans. And Caleb Love hit a dagger 3-pointer down the stretch and went 3 of 4 from the free throw line in the final minute to help Carolina close out their most fierce rivals. Coach K losing his last game of his career in the Final Four to the heated rival Tar Heels, and he finished his career 50-50. Even 50-50 versus Carolina. And so Carolina gets it done to move on to the national championship game. We're going to talk about the national championship game in a minute, but we can't just gloss over a game that saw 17 million people watch on television. So we've got to talk about the first time ever those two teams met in the NCAA tournament. Tunnel Crew, your thoughts on the big rivalry game, Part 3, Carolina Duke.
Hey, everybody lived up to what it's supposed to be. That's what I can tell you. They didn't let anybody down. It was a great game. You know.
Most definitely. Most definitely. You know, real quick, I'm gonna jump in here. The thing I want to say is I was happy to see that game play out the way it did. Now, I'm not talking about the result. I'm talking about the fact that the whole country, there are a lot of people that probably hear about this rivalry, probably hear about that game, maybe don't even tune in for the regular season game because they're a casual observer. Maybe they more West Coast biased or whatever. And they were probably saying, man, is this thing really what everybody says it is? To see that game played on a national level at that high a caliber, nobody wanted to lose that game, y'all. I mean, it was basically, you got to give Duke credit. You got to give Carolina credit. Nobody wanted to lose that game, and that's the way that game is supposed to be showcased on the national level.
And Big T, to your point, Big T, I think that game solidified how much the ACC did not get credit for having teams that played well this season.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the ACC. The ACC's been around, what, since the 1940s?
It's been around a long time.
The conference has been historically great since the first moment it was even founded. And the thing is, I think you have the Big Ten and you have the Pac-12, and they put these players in the NBA. And, you know, a lot of attention goes to that. But what the ACC is so special about is the programs in the conference are so exceptional that they can perform at that level. And that's a hard thing to do, to consistently put teams in the Final Four, to have rivalries that are this intense all the time.
Yeah.
And I think it's a testament to how great this state is for basketball.
Most definitely.
And another thing, Big T, I really believe, well, it's not like that Duke and Carolina needing the help with recruiting.
No.
But
this
just makes an even bolder statement that, hey, you from upstate New York or whatever, we need to get on down south to the Carolina. Because those boys know how to ball. I mean, that I think, you know, recruiting, it just kind of solidified, you know, what both programs are really about.
Yeah.
And I think you're getting more players wanting to come down this way, you know, because if you look at the documentaries that they had, man, guys coming from all over the country.
Yep.
To come and play, you know, in the ACC and never, you know, heard of it, and then just the impact of the you know, of the conference itself have just ballooned, you know, and then they're spreading abroad. What I mean by that, you got, you know, State, you know, Wake Forest, you got all of them in the ACC. Any year, you're going to have 4 or 5 of them that can easily make the tournament.
Yep.
You can easily win. You know, but these just two schools has just been battling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just been a battle, man. And it's like ridiculous how close they are in the numbers of wins, losses, and those things like that is just unbelievable. And then for Coach K to go 50 and 50, you know, how ironic is that? You know?
Yeah. It was like it had to be that way. You know, you can't leave having bested your rival or them bested you. It has to be, hey, we even, because the rivalry feels that way. It feels like the amount of success both teams has had is even, pretty much, you know.
It is one thing that I really you know, that I've brought up before that I really love about us living in North Carolina is that you know, we are a basketball state. That's what we're known for. We're known for having the best. We're known for finding the best and bringing them here because it's a whole different culture. And, you know, I thought about how Duke and Carolina, you know, when they played, I mean, even though we didn't play in our home state, I thought about all the people that showed up from other states just to come to the game and just to see how hot we are as a state. You know, well, Mel said it, you know, when you think about North Carolina State, you think about Duke, you think about Carolina, and even our own HBCU that the radar is hating on. But our own HBCU, you know, we're the largest HBCU in the nation. So
that's right.
So we're just good all the way around.
Hey, anybody else got any comments on this game before we move on? Bird, you got anything to say? Any thoughts?
I'll say this. I agree with stats, but congratulations to every team, not just Carolina and Duke, but every team in the ACC, because we proved that we're not a weak conference.
Yeah, that's right. That is exactly right. All right, well, let's move on then, because like we said, Carolina advanced to the national championship game. Kansas blew out Villanova, so we don't even need to discuss that game. That game was over before it started. And so you got the matchup of the two blue bloods, Carolina and Kansas, who they seem to be forever linked because they're always having historical things, pathways that lead to one another. And in that game, Carolina jumped out. Kansas jumped out early, and then Carolina hit Kansas with a 40-18 blitz and took a 40-25 15-point halftime lead. At one point, they were up by 16 in the game. And, now listen to these numbers, y'all. Carolina was 161-0 when leading by 15 or more in the last 25 years. All right, at the half. They were 46-0 all time in the NCAA tourney when they had a double-digit halftime lead. And this season, they were 21-0 when leading at the half. This season. Well, all of those streaks came to an end because after taking that 15-point halftime lead, Kansas came out in the second half and just completely dominated the second half of that game. Well, at least the first 10 minutes of the second half, outscoring Carolina, I think 31-10, first 10 minutes. They held Carolina to 27% shooting in the second half. RJ Davis and Caleb Love went a combined 10 for 41 for the game shooting. And they outscored Carolina 14-2 on points off of turnovers. I mean, it was just a dominant second half by Kansas, and they pulled off the biggest comeback of any championship game ever, or any championship halftime lead ever. Both of those were records for Kansas, and they came back and won the game 72-69. It was Kansas' fourth national championship, Bill Self's second national championship, and he became the only coach ever to beat Carolina 4 straight times in the tournament. He is 4-0 against the Tar Heels since becoming Kansas coach. He's the only coach ever to beat them 4 straight times. Hey, he's our daddy. Bill Self is the Tar Heels daddy. Your thoughts, Tunnel Crew, on the national championship game?
Well, I looked at it as that basketball is a game of runs. And Carolina runs in the first half, and Kansas was in the second half. Yeah. And whoever can recover the quickest, end up winning. It was a good game. It was the mistakes made down the stretch that caused Carolina. Yeah. But you got to give credit to Kansas for doing what they do to make those mistakes happen.
That's right.
So you can't always think somebody's going to shoot 40 and 50%. For 5 or 6 games, and that was one of those nights in the second half. Carolina just didn't shoot it.
Real quick, you think did tired legs have anything to do with it?
No, I don't think tired legs has anything. Most of it is mental, man. Mm-hmm. Mental aspect of the game. When you're not mentally tough in certain situations, the legs don't have anything to do with it.
Yeah. All right, listen up. We're going to talk a little bit more about this, the national championship game on the other side of the break. We also, like we said, want to congratulate Dawn Stady. We'll talk about the women on the other side, talk about Bruce Arians, NBA, Major League Baseball. We got a lot to talk about on this edition of At Home with the Crossover, and we'll cover all of that and more when we come back.
Why so sad when the joy is here? What's the answer? Joy in the morning, the crossover. You can find them all right here on 100.7 WLJF. There's no need to be down when there's plenty of joy to go around. Get your daily dose and turn that frown upside down. Love and Faith Radio, 100.7 WLJF, the joy.
My name is Priscilla Van. I'm with Hometown Insurance Service. I'm an independent insurance agent that specializes in Medicare, senior solutions, life and health. I work with dozens of companies so that I can offer you the appropriate coverage as well as the affordable price for your insurance needs. If I can help you, please contact me at my website, hometowninsuranceservice.com, or email me at hometown.insurvice, or you can find me on Facebook at Hometown Insurance Service. Thank you.
Times are changing. We all have questions about the future. Join us as we find the answers through the Word of God.
Love and Faith Christian Fellowship invites you to join our congregation. One church, 2 locations, Greensboro and Kernersville.
We're helping people on their path to find God as we provide spiritual leadership and growth through diverse ministry.
Celebrating over 25 years of ministry. Join our Love and Faith community where Jesus Christ is Lord and the people are loved.
All right, welcome back to At Home with the Crossover. Be sure to catch this live at home edition of the show every Tuesday night on YouTube. Go to the Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel and be sure to tune in every week so you can see the Queen throwing on the specs. You know, she just threw the specs on all of a sudden, you know. She said, hey, I got to look like a professor, you know, because that I'm a doctor, you know. And Birdman with the hoodie on, looking like, you know, he get ready to go, you know, rob a bank or something. Just messing with you, Bird. Just messing with you. Bro Mel chilling as usual, and Aggie P, you know, repping the Aggies like we always say, and of course Stats with his baseball, you know, love, and then Radar, you know, looking down because he thinks the monitor is down, so he's looking down there. So anyway, because he can't see, blind as a bat. Hey, catch all of the members of the Tunnel Crew every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. live on YouTube. Go to the Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Tell everybody you know about it. Then on Thursday nights, catch the audio version, the original Crossover Sports Show. You can find it online at WLJFradio.com. You can also download the 100.7 WLJF app. It's available both Google Play and the iTunes Store. Okay. So let's wrap up this national championship talk because y'all know I want to move on quick from that. You know, I'm just playing. We can spend time on it if you want to. But anyway, a couple of quick mentions here. Kansas, we saw them get behind to Miami in the Elite Eight game, and then they came out in the second. I think they were down by like 7 or 9 points or something like that at halftime against Miami. And it looked like Miami was in control of that game, was going to run Kansas out the building. Then the second half, Kansas outscored Miami 42-17. Sort of a similar second half against the Tar Heels as they outscored Carolina 47-29. Despite the fact that Carolina out-rebounded them 55-35 for the game, that's the largest margin in NCAA tournament history. Out-rebounding those guys by championship game history, out-rebounding those guys by 20, but they still managed to come back. So your thoughts, we'll continue to get your thoughts on this championship game before we move on, Tunnel Crew. Anybody else want to add their thoughts?
I wanted to just say that I am just so happy for Hubert Davis. I'm just really happy. I know that a lot of fans are probably happy about that he was able to retire Coach K a little faster for his retirement. But I'm really happy. The first Black coach to be at Carolina. I really felt like, I'm just being honest, I really felt like Roy probably could not have gotten them this far because, you know, but I'm thankful that Roy knew his limitations, that he was able to give it to someone that he knew probably had a closer bond with the team. I don't know about anybody else, but it just seemed like when he took over, it just seemed like it was like the players just seemed a little closer, or Davis just seemed to really make sure that the attention was on the players. And I really appreciated that, you know. So I was just happy in that aspect.
Go ahead.
I saw something, I want to say this was last week. I saw something very interesting that kind of shed light on me on why Carolina made this run. After the loss to Pittsburgh, Hubert brought everybody in for a meeting. And he was like, you know, guys, we had one mission set this year, which was to make the national championship. And I think when you give your players that kind of confidence after that kind of loss, that's what builds your momentum going down the stretch. That's why this team was so good and so confident, because they saw their coach being confident in them. And he knew that didn't change the goals they had set all season. Just losing one game to a team you're not supposed to lose to, it can send you down the wrong path. And it did for a lot of teams, and it didn't for the Tar Heels.
Anybody else?
Well, I just have a question for the Tunnel Crew. Starting the second half, when Kansas was made that run, my question is, why didn't Coach Davis call a timeout?
You know, it's funny.
To regroup his guys, because I know they have studied that they are a second half team. So if your team come out cold, timeout, regroup, let's try to slow this momentum down and go back and play. Now I enjoyed the game, but that part I just didn't understand.
Well, and it's funny that you say it, because you remember when he was first hired, one of the first things he did was make a Roy Williams joke, because Roy was notorious for not calling timeouts when teams were on runs. And he said he was going to start the press conference by calling a timeout. Remember that? And everybody laughed. And so he was trying to signal that he wasn't going to do things exactly the same way Roy did. Well, last night it looked a lot like Roy there.
You know what I was thinking? Because my father said the same thing. He should have called a timeout. I do know that there are certain times, there are TV timeouts, as we know. Like when you get to that 2 minutes. I honestly, when I looked, he had 3 timeouts left. And I told my dad, I said, I think what he's trying to do, if they get a little further ahead, I think he's trying to use those timeouts within those 2 minutes, because Kansas didn't call one either. They didn't call one either. So that was my feeling on it.
Yeah. Well, I think it was the fact that those guys had more energy. They had more guys coming off the bench. That's why I disagree with Bromell, because some of those plays that they were making, it was like they weren't thinking as quickly as Kansas. Because sometimes on those fast breaks, when they was doing a lot of those tip balls on rebounds, they get that ball out on the run, and them guys was gone. And you can only do that so many times before those legs start to kind of like tremble the next time you start to make a move or go left. Because one time Baycott caught the ball, and it looked like somebody just popped the ball out of his hand. And I know it was just because of the fact that he didn't have the feeling in his hand that he had at the beginning of the game, at the end of the game. Because that guy McCormick was playing ball all 48, the whole game from top to bottom. He made Armando Baycott play both ends of the court, which is something I haven't seen all tournament.
McCormick got a lot of rest too, Radar.
Yeah, he did. That's right.
He got a lot of rest.
Yeah, he did.
Because of the foul trouble.
But when he came in, he made great plays. He wasn't losing the ball like he was against Miami. But every time he got that ball in the post, he made Armando work. And when Armando was getting that ball,
Armando was making him work too, though. But you know what? I'll say this: Bromell played at the college level. Okay, so I definitely am not going to disagree with Bromell. If he says he didn't believe legs was a factor, then I trust his opinion. I just know that I saw Caleb Love a lot in the last 6 or 7 minutes. Just go to a spot and just stand there. I don't know if that was because of the injured ankle or because of tired, being tired or what, but you got to feel like, there was a lot of energy expended and effort expended to win that semifinal game against Duke. Yeah. And that is no excuse, because, if it was totally because of tired legs they lost, then they would have lost by more than 3 points. Right. So you can't, like Bromell said, you can't totally put it on tired legs.
And I think I put it on the mental aspect of it. The mental aspect of it, because when you make the mistake that you're making, it's not physical, it's the mental aspect of it. And that's why I said when it came to that, you have to realize Love, he twisted that same ankle twice in that game. And that's why he was hopping the way he was hopping. And don't get me wrong, Kansas is a running team. That's what they do. Carolina is a running team too. But if you're not thinking the way you're supposed to be thinking and you're making careless turnovers, that's mental. That don't have anything to do with you running up and down the court and getting back. It has something to do with if you running the right play or you looking and seeing what's going on. Caleb Love threw some passes right in the hands of a guy.
Yep, exactly.
1 feet away from his own man. You know?
Yeah, and bro, Mel, you saw when Manic made that bad pass too. That was 100% mental. He just rushed that 100%.
Yeah,
and it was rushed because Kansas was playing with a lot of speed. Them boys, as soon as they got the ball, they knew who to go to.
Oh yeah.
And that guy Puff Johnson, I think it was. He came and bailed them out a lot.
Yeah,
making it have that big of a game.
Man,
it really didn't on it.
Right, and when another team is playing faster than you, mentally, you're tired because you're like, man, I can't even think as quick as these guys are, and they keep throwing guys at me. That's why I thought it was mental fatigue and physical fatigue. They just didn't know which at certain times because it got to where they were shooting a lot of free throws.
Well, and go ahead, Stats.
I mean, the two teams played so similar, and I was telling people this week, I said, it could be Carolina could win the game by 2 or 3. It could be Carolina lose by 2 or 3. I mean, the teams were so evenly matched, and I've been watching Kansas all year, and y'all know I like Kansas, and it hurt me to see them run us out the gym in the second half like that. I knew it was a chance. It could happen. It hurt.
This is what I look at. If it was that more physical and running, they should have beat Carolina worse than what they beat them.
Yeah.
If that's the case. If they would have, if you're saying they was really tired, they would have beat Carolina worse than they beat them.
Yeah.
Because they had the energy to come back. They went up on Carolina, about 7 or 8 points.
Yeah.
And then they brought it back down. But basically, both of them played a great game. I'm not taking anything away from Kansas. And I'm just saying it was a real hard game. And some things come down to who can make the plays at the right time. And Kansas made it. They made outside shots.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of variables in it, but hey, the better team won it, last night. That's basically, if you have to look at it, the better team won.
Hey, I know we could spend the whole show talking about this game, but we are going to move on because we do want to talk about the ladies. But real quick before I move on, TP, you mentioned Hubert Davis. He became the 4th head coach to lead his team to the national championship game in his rookie season. And he also won the National Coach of the Year award. So congratulations to Hubert on achieving that. And so let's move on to another history-making Black head coach, because Dawn Staley led her South Carolina Gamecocks to their second national championship. They defeated UConn, who knocked off the defending national champion Stanford, ending their 23-game winning streak. And but they just couldn't get past that buzzsaw of South Carolina. South Carolina blew them out in the regular season. They blew them out in the championship game. And Dawn Staley became the first Black head coach in men's or women's Division I basketball to win multiple national championships. So congratulations to her. That big South Carolina center, man, Aaliyah Boston, that girl is tough. Yes. And I'm telling you, she's the National Player of the Year. She won the most outstanding player of the Final Four, and she's coming back, y'all. She's coming back next year. So they already talking about running it back. Hey, your thoughts on Dawn Staley making history, the South Carolina Gamecocks winning their second national championship?
Real quick, Big T, I think this is exactly why they set up the brackets the way they did. Because they knew what nobody gonna watch NC State and South Carolina play against each other. They wanted to see UConn go against South Carolina. Because we've all forgot South Carolina was playing in the Greensboro bracket, in the bracket. So that would have sent them home earlier if they would have faced South Carolina. Because if you can't beat UConn and South Carolina took UConn apart.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm gonna tell you, South Carolina is the truth, man. And I went to that game at the Coliseum. Hey, you think that girl is good? Man, they go 6'3", 6'4". They have the point guard that is the smallest thing out there, but everybody else. And I'm gonna tell you this: they run through picks.
Yeah.
You know why you said a pick? Oh, those girls was running through other girls, and I'm talking about completely just knocking them down. Yeah. They like, okay, you're gonna set a pick. Okay, you're gonna take this when I'm coming through you.
Yeah.
And the ref wasn't calling anything.
Yeah.
I'm telling you the truth.
Let them play.
I've seen about 5 times the girl just went right through the girl. I said, oh my goodness.
Hey, TP, your thoughts?
You know what I mean? Of course, everybody knows I love Dawn. I mean, I love her. And, I've loved her since we kind of worked together. And when I was going to Temple University back in the early 1990s. So I loved it. I loved it. I love to see Dawn. Bromell is right. Everything about that game. I must be honest. When I was looking up some of the statistics and stuff during the game, let me tell y'all how serious women's basketball is. And I'm hoping that we can fill out a bracket. Dawn Staley was getting paid $2.7 million. Hubert Davis got paid $1.8 million. Dawn has now, I almost can promise you, she didn't double her salary.
Wow. Woo. Oh, wow. Hey, y'all, we're going to talk more on the other side of the break. But before we go, I want you to know that you can catch this live at home edition of the show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. Go to the Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Tell everybody you know about the show. And then on Thursday nights at 7 p.m., catch the audio version of the original crossover sports show. It can be found online at WLJFradio.com. When we come back, it'll be time for the question of the day.
I'm so sad when the joy is here. What's the answer? Joy in the morning, the crossover. You can find them all right here on 100.7 WLJF. There's no need to be down when there's plenty of joy to go around. Get your daily dose and turn that frown upside down. Love and Faith Radio, 100.7 WLJF, the joy.
My name is Priscilla Van. I'm with Hometown Insurance Service. I'm an independent insurance agent that specializes in Medicare, senior solutions, life and health. I work with dozens of companies so that I can offer you the appropriate coverage as well as the affordable price for your insurance needs. If I can help you, please contact me at my website, hometowninsuranceservice.com, or email me at hometown.inservice, or you can find me on Facebook at Hometown Insurance Service. Thank you.
Times are changing. We all have questions about the future. Join us as we find the answers through the Word of God.
Love and Faith Christian Fellowship invites you to join our congregation. One church, 2 locations, Greensboro and Kernersville.
We're helping people on their path to find God as we provide spiritual leadership and growth through diverse ministry.
Celebrating over 25 years of ministry, join our Love and Faith community where Jesus Christ is Lord and the people are loved.
100.7 WLJF.
All right, welcome back to At Home with the Crossover. Be sure to catch us every Tuesday night live on YouTube. Go to the Love and Faith Radio YouTube page. And be sure to tell all your friends about it and like, share, and subscribe to it. And catch us every Tuesday night live, 7 p.m. Then Thursday nights at 7 p.m., catch the audio version of the original crossover sports show. You can find it online at WLJFradio.com. You can also download the 100.7 WLJF app, which is available on Google Play and in the iTunes store. Okay. Before we get into our question of the day, we're going to go to the Queen. Any social media shout outs and comments, Queen?
Yes, we have a lot of discussion here. Small Wonder said that she was a nervous wreck when they were going back and forth and she was pulling for UNC. She said, Mr. Small Wonder. So then our discussion then, of course, went on to the South Carolina game. So she said it was amazing. A great job. Miss Ann Mitchell said, good evening, Tunnel Crew. Great discussion. Keep up the good work. Great show. Blessings to all of the Tunnel Crew and your family. So people really discussing about both games, how they felt about Carolina and also how they felt about South Carolina. So that goes back to my point. Carolina's on fire.
There you go. Definitely. Carolina's on fire. I love that. All right. So also real quick, before we move on to our question of the day, I got a couple of quick mentions I want to toss out there. So Bruce Arians, everybody knows Tom Brady announced he was coming back, and Bruce Arians announced he's heading out. Bruce Arians announced last week that he is stepping down as head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after 3 seasons with the team. He went 31-18 over those 3 seasons, led them to the big game championship, of course. He's staying on with the team, though. He's taking on a senior role of a senior football consultant in the front office. But the cool news is they promoted Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator, to head coach. So there is a black head coach in the league now, joining Mike Tomlin. So congratulations to Todd Bowles for getting that job. And he'll be leading Brady and the boys into battle coming this fall. And linebacker Bobby Wagner, the veteran linebacker, signed a 5-year, $50 million deal with the Rams. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler with Seattle, and they released him not too long ago. So congratulations to him. Over on the NBA side, the Suns beat the Warriors last week to up their record to 31-6 on the road. They tied a franchise record with 62 wins. Golden State has been slipping. They fell to 4th as Steph Curry is still out, and they say he'll probably be back in time for the playoffs, but not going to finish the regular season. The Grizzlies clinched their first division title in franchise history. They've been playing without Ja Morant for weeks, but they've gone 20-2 this season without him, including 10 straight wins. So there you go. And then DeMar DeRozan scored 50 points last week, his second career 50-point game. And he became the 14th player this season to score 50 points. That's an NBA record. We've had 7 of those 14 in the month of March alone, the most ever for a single month in NBA history. So just wanted to throw those quick mentions out there. Stats, give us a baseball update, as this is Major League Baseball opening week.
It is opening week. It's my favorite week of the year. Okay, guys, we got everything going on at once. So I'm going to condense this baseball simply for you. The Dodgers got much better, even though they lost players and Kenley Jansen and Joe Kelly. They lost a few of their relievers, but they got better. However, there are expanded playoffs now. The strike happened. That was a part of the deal. There are 2 extra playoff spots now. The NL West got a lot stiffer. The Rockies picked up Chris Bryant from the Giants. They also added another infielder that could hit. The AL East still looks pretty stacked. The Blue Jays, they got a lot better. The Yankees got better offensively. I wouldn't say they got better on the pitching side. The Red Sox got a lot better offensively. They added an all-star shortstop from the Rockies. The Orioles still, they can't really hit, but they're trying to hit. They caught up one of their top prospects week. And the Royals are actually expected to make a lot of noise this year as well in that division with the White Sox and the new Cleveland Guardians.
The Guardians.
Twins are expected to make some noise because they signed former All-Star Carlos Correa, got some pitching in there, so they're expected to do some damage. And let's not forget, the Angels are still there. They have one of the best players we've ever seen in baseball history.
Ohtani.
And they added Noah Syndergaard, a guy who blew his arm out, who could throw 99 when he's healthy. So it's a lot of stories in the American League. In the National League, you got the Dodgers, the Braves. The Cardinals got better. They got Albert Pujols back, so he'll probably have a farewell tour this year in St. Louis. And you got to think about the New York Mets with all the money that they spent this offseason. What could possibly go wrong for the Mets this year? Well, Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom are already not going to start the season. So
That's right.
They're going to have to figure out their pitching rotation. Even though they can hit, they're going to have to piece that together. So 162 is about to begin this week. Got a lot of fun storylines, a lot of rookies to look out for. And let's not forget the expanded playoffs this year is going to open up the door for a lot of teams that didn't make it last year. Like the Phillies, the Cubs, some of those middle ground teams, they're going to be in it till the end this year. And it's going to be a fun season. So I'm right on the edge of my seat waiting for Thursday afternoon at 12 o'clock.
Hey, I'm going to pick your brain a little bit in the coming weeks about the rule changes and stuff like that, the Shohei Ohtani rule change and everything. We'll get more in the depth of that in the coming weeks. But thanks, Stats. We appreciate the baseball update.
No problem.
All right. Yes, sir. All right. Let's move on to our question of the day. And we've been talking a lot about men's and women's college basketball tournament, the NCAA tournament. It's been on fire, like TP said. And so that led us to an exciting, fun question of the day, because we saw a lot of great basketball on both sides. The women showed out, the men showed out, And it got us to thinking, because you look over at the NBA side, and we talked about this before. You got guys taking nights off. You got guys saying, hey, I don't want to get vaccinated. So even if that means I can't play half the season, I'll just, that's fine with me, And so when you see these college kids out there laying it all on the line, you see guys twisting their ankles and getting busted up, getting nailed by elbows and stuff. It looks like there's an intensity to these college players. Bromell talked about those screens and then ladies just blowing people up with the screens. So the question of the day is this. Does the NCAA tournament, men's and women's, prove that the college basketball players love the game more than the pros? And we're going to toss that out to the tunnel crew. I like how the queen said, we're going to toss that out to the tunnel crew and get your thoughts. Go ahead and have at it. Let us know what you think.
Well, I think they like the game. I think the money is the issue for the college players. That's what their main issue is. They want to make that money. But if you're looking at it on a just play the game, I think the college is a game changer. If you have that experience, and it's getting more parity now in college, whereas you can go anywhere and play and get seen now. So that what makes it so fun to watch now than it has in the past. But I think money is always going to be the issue when it comes to those individuals who need to take care of their family.
Yeah. Tunnel crew. Hey,
good question, man.
Did you get stumped by that question, Aggie P?
Kind of, sort of, because I look at it like this. I think who probably really truly love the game is high school basketball players.
Yeah.
I think, Brother Mel kind of touched on it a little bit. Once you get to college, I think they're playing so hard and playing on hurt ankles and everything because they want to get to the next level.
Yeah.
To where they get that money.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the top of the level, when you start getting that money, now you're going to be hungry your first couple of years. Because you want that check to go up. I'm just speaking facts, man.
Yeah.
You want that check to go up, but one morning you're going to get up after you've been playing after about 4 years and your bank account got all them zeros in it. You just don't have that, that fire anymore. Okay, it's kind of like us. Okay, let's get up and go to work now. All right. Let me get my coffee. This and that. Okay, we're playing the Spurs tonight. Okay, I know what I need to do. Your mentality just kind of changes a little bit, Big T.
Yeah.
So I guess my answer for the question is, if you want to speak about the love of sports, go out and watch the youth. Younger youth. Where they really love playing football, playing basketball, playing baseball. But once you get up there, you start thinking, okay, I'm gonna be one and done, so I can go to the next level. To me, your love language is kind of diminishing at the time.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I want to say this real quick. One of the things I like about how you preference that is there is a difference between loving the game and loving what the game can provide for you. So it kind of sounds like the way you're laying it out is the college players playing hard because there's an opportunity that's right there before them. It presents itself as a chance to get things that the game can give to you if you advance the next level. Whereas the high school guys, they out there playing because they love it. Because I remember, back in high school, we used to play ball all the time. I mean, it was like, hey, you want to go play? Yeah, let's roll. Throw your shorts and t-shirt on, grab a ball, and you in the car.
Right in the car, we on our bicycles going to another neighborhood. Hey.
On the
look, it wasn't even supposed to be across town. But hey, they're balling to dark, man. But anyway, that's all I have to say about it. I just think that it diminishes as you go up in levels.
Yeah. Next.
I think college is the better between the two of high school and pro because you get the local adoration, the national attention, but at the same time, you're still playing for that respect. Because you still got a little bit of, like Aggie said, that high school in you.
Yeah.
And to Mel's point, the guy's still playing for pride. They're willing to take. Let Bro Mel take the shot because I know I'm not that guy. They're willing to play their lane in college versus in the pros. Everybody want to be that guy. Everybody want a shoe contract. Everybody want the commercials. And it's like it becomes more of a business, like to, again, Aggie P's point. But again, I think that college now is kind of getting back to where, okay, we can kind of have fun and still make money, because with them being able to make money off their likeness now, I think this is going to shift everything in college basketball again. With that in the transfer portal, it's going to give everybody a shot again to kind of say, hey, if I can't make it over here, let me go try it over here.
And I think that's what's so great about what happened with St. Peter's. You know, a lot of those guys probably weren't getting big deals. I mean, they might have gotten maybe $100, $200 or $300 for an NIL deal, because that's a smaller school. They're not going to be able to dish out thousands of dollars. But those guys are like, hey, I might not be getting an NIL deal that's thousands of dollars, but I can ball just as much as this kid for Kentucky right here, getting $5,000 and $6,000 for signing the autograph. Yeah. So, you know, I think that's what makes college basketball so great. And I think, you know, the NIL deals and the transfer portal, it's made it even better when you think about it. The level of competition we saw this year in comparison to previous years, I think this has been a phenomenal NCAA tournament. Phenomenal.
Bird, your thoughts?
I think it's good for the college game of basketball. But I'm going to agree with Bro Mel, but I'm going to do one better. Everybody cares about the money and the deals and all the draft stock and everything, but nobody, as far as athletic-wise, student athletes, they don't really care about their education as much. It's like, to them nowadays, it's like, it's good for the game, but for educational-wise, it's not really good so much because they don't have nothing to fall back on because all they're seeing is dollar bills.
And you're right, Birdman. That's on those ones who go one and done. What kind of education you going to get? And you're only going to be there for the basketball. You know. And those are maybe the ones after 3 years in the NBA. If you don't get re-signed, you're going to the G League. Yeah. You know.
Well, and you always see, you know, those guys that's serious. I mean, that's seriously, like you said, into it for the trying to get to the league when they just do the one semester or whatever, or the semesters during the basketball season. And then they leave school, you know, to go work out and get ready for the draft. TP, your thoughts?
But that was kind of what I was getting to was, you know, when we were talking earlier, I was saying, hey, you know, they only do like 1 year and then they go, when I feel like some of the players should actually stay. I think in football, you have to do at least 4 years.
At least three.
Okay. Yeah. And so, you know, I want to make sure that you didn't do well just that 1 year and then you come to the NBA and you kind of become a flake and nobody really remembers you. And then, I mean, you got to remember that some of these guys, you know, they started playing at 3. I know Baron Davis started playing at 3 years old. And if all you knew was basketball, it does kind of go back to a little bit what Birdman is saying, you know, what happens to the education piece afterwards, because when you finish playing and everybody's gone, you feel lost. This has been in your life. And now it's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So, well, you come back and buy a building and get your doctorate degree. You know, there you go, doctor. I mean, that's right. Aggie P had to throw that in there. I mean, hey, you know, hey, some brothers make it.
Hey, Big T, like J.R. Smith and his 4.0 at A&T.
That's right.
hey, he earned that, man.
If you say so.
They said he said all the guys we asked him to go out and party and stuff. And he said, "Nah, I got to study." He earned that.
He really did. He really earned that, sir.
Yeah. I believe he did. Hey, everybody, make sure you catch us every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. live. YouTube is the place. Once you get there, go to the Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell everyone, and I mean everyone, your uncles, your aunts, your mamas, your daddies, your brothers, your sisters, tell everybody to tune in every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. to catch us live on YouTube. And then on Thursday nights, catch the audio version of the original Crossover Sports Show. And you can catch it at 7 p.m. on WLJFradio.com. You can also download the 100.7 WLJF app. It's available both on Google Play and in the iTunes Store. Listen up. When we come back, it is time to wrap this bad boy up.
Why so sad when the joy is here? What's the answer? Joy in the morning, the crossover. You can find them all right here on 100.7 WLJF. There's no need to be down when there's plenty of joy to go around. Get your daily dose and turn that frown upside down. Love and Faith Radio, 100.7 WLJF, the joy.
My name is Priscilla Van. I'm with Hometown Insurance Service. I'm an independent insurance agent that specializes in Medicare, senior solutions, life, and health. I work with dozens of companies so that I can offer you the appropriate coverage as well as the affordable price for your insurance needs. If I can help you, please contact me at my website, hometowninsuranceservice.com, or email me at hometown.inservice, or you can find me on Facebook at Hometown Insurance Service. Thank you.
Times are changing. We all have questions about the future. Join us as we find the answers through the Word of God.
Love and Faith Christian Fellowship invites you to join our congregation. One church, two locations, Greensboro and Kernersville.
We're helping people on their path to find God as we provide spiritual leadership and growth through diverse ministry.
Celebrating over 25 years of ministry. Join our Love and Faith community where Jesus Christ is Lord and the people are loved.
It's time now for the crossover wrap-up report. Let's send it back to the Tunnel Crew.
All right, welcome back to At Home with the Crossover. Hey, a couple of quick mentions before we get into the wrap-up. Nolan Smith is leaving Duke as an assistant coach. He's taking an associate head coaching job at his father's alma mater, Louisville. So, and he is Duke's #1 recruiter, according to all the reports that I've seen and heard and read. So there you go on that note. And then Jay Williams was on Keyshawn J and his show this morning, and he said, I won't be surprised if Coach K pulls a Tom Brady. He said, and everybody was like, hey, is he saying something based on inside information? Because, you know, he's close to the program. But he said it would not shock him if Coach K pulled a Tom Brady. A lot of people are saying if he did, that'll be embarrassing because to me, it makes him look selfish because it makes it look like he's saying, I'm not going out losing like, you know, to Carolina and losing my last home game to Carolina, my last game. And then it makes it a crusade to, you know, puff yourself up. So I don't think he'll do it for that reason. But hey, there you go. All right, let's look at the picks here. Let's look at the standings from last week. So last week, like I said, for the last 3 weeks, we picked the NCAA tournament. Last weekend, it was just the 3 games, the 2 semifinal games and the national championship. Stats picked Kansas, so he went 2-1, and he was the only Tunnel Crew member to pick Kansas. So congratulations, Stats. Radar picked Kansas, I believe, to yeah, he picked Kansas to get there, but he picked them to lose to Baylor, I believe. So that's where his one win came from. And the rest of the Tunnel Crew, we went 0-3 because we didn't have anybody. We didn't have anybody in the Final Four. So that's what we did last week for the Final Four. So let's move on. Look at the overall standings. They look like this. I'm on top with 69 wins. Bro Mel is breathing down my neck with 68 wins. Radar has 66 wins, and Aggie P has 64 wins. If the playoffs started today, that would be your playoff participants right there. I would face Aggie P, and Bromel and Radar would face off in the other semifinal. TP, actually, I'm sorry, I forgot about TP because TP has 64, so she would win the tiebreaker over Aggie P. So Aggie P would be out. I'm sorry, Aggie P. Hey, I'm sorry, Aggie P. TP would get in on the tiebreaker. So congratulations, TP. If the playoffs ended today, you were the season ended today, you would be in. Birdman is next with 54 wins, and Stats is bringing up the rear with 53 wins. All right. So the picks for this week look like this. We've got a host of NBA games. We got some Masters. So for the Masters, we said pick any player that would be in the top 3 of the Masters that you think will finish in the top 3 of the Masters. We also have NBA games here, and I am trying to locate. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to locate the picks here, the games. All right, here we go. I've got them. All right, so we've got the Hornets at the Heat on tonight. Actually, I think it's 7:30. So that game should be underway right now. Got the Celtics at the Bucks on Thursday. We got the Grizzlies at the Nuggets on Thursday, and we got the Suns at the Jazz on Friday. And then the Red Sox and Yankees open with a 3-game series, and we just simply said pick the winner of that series. So I guess since my face is plastered on the screen, I'll go first here. I'm taking the Jazz, the Bucks, the Suns, and the Yankees to win the series versus the Red Sox. Bro Mel, you're next.
I got Roy McIlroy for golf. I think he's one of the top players right now.
Okay.
And got the Bucks, has the Suns, and also my Yankees.
All right. Aggie P.
So with the Heat, the Celtics, the Grizzlies, and the Suns.
All right. Hey.
Stay away from that baseball.
TP.
I have the Heat, the Celtics, the Grizzlies, and the Suns.
All right. Next, Birdman.
Oh, I got John finishing in the top 3 of the Masters.
John Rahm.
Yeah, John Rahm. I got the Heat, the Bucks, and the Yankees winning the series.
All right, Heat, Bucks, and Yankees. All right, next, Radar.
Oh yeah, I got the homegrown Charlotte Hornets. I got Giannis, the new king, and the Bucks. And then I got the Suns, and then I got the Red Sox.
All right. Next.
All right.
Stats.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a little strange thing.
Uh-oh.
The Heat, the Grizzlies, the Suns. Y'all know I never pick against the Yankees, but they stink on opening day. I'm picking the Red Sox to win the series.
Oh, so you're going Heat, Grizzlies, and
Red
Suns
Sox.
and Red Sox.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was wondering about that, Birdman, and you the baseball guy.
Taking the Red Sox. All right, so we got you. Got you. And by the way, everybody, if you see at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen underneath everybody's picture, it says weekly wins. Whenever you win the week of picks, you get a credit for that, and that's our tiebreaker. Whoever has the most wins, if you're tied with somebody, we go to that. After that, we go to a coin flip like the NFL does. All right, it's time for shout-outs or shut up and play candidates, and we'll start with you, Queen.
I'll give a shout out to Stats for winning with Kansas.
There you go.
And I'm giving you a shout out.
Got that shout out. Radar.
You know what? I'm gonna double down on that. Shouts out to Stats for getting out of bed and shooting the show from his chair.
All right, Stats.
My shout outs to I guess I'll say Carolina. You know, even though they lost the championship, it felt like a championship beating those hated Blue Devils. It felt like a championship.
All right. Bro Mel.
I just give a shout out to Donna Staley.
Yeah.
You know, South Carolina in general.
Excellent.
I just love the way those girls play.
Yeah. Aggie P.
My shout out goes to Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Hey, that's
I think
a good
he's going to try to play in the Masters. He's looking good this practice round, so let's see.
All right. Birdman.
Shout out to the entire ACC.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, my shout out is to all the fans and listeners who joined us in the Tunnel Crew bracket challenge. Miss Small Wonder finished second. Percy, our producer, finished sixth. Nisi finished ninth. And like we said, Stats was the only one to pick Kansas. Hey, for the Queen. For Bird, there you go. For Birdman. For Aggie P.
No weapon.
For Bromel.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
For Radar.
Narrow is the only way, sir.
For Stats.
Baseball is back.
There you go. I'm your man, Big T, signing off and saying, no matter where you are, look up and know that your creator is there. Until next time, see you, and we might want to be.